Good morning, everyone. So if you follow me on Instagram, you know that this past weekend I was away at my son's wedding. For those of you that don't know, my husband and I are a blended family of 6 children. He has or had 3 and I have 3, and 5 boys and a girl. And the oldest, which would be my husband's oldest, he is 22 years old and he just got married, and it was wonderful. Like, I love non-traditional almost everything because I'm not very traditional. I am with certain things, but I like, not just like, I love when people will do things that aren't normal and that will make it extra special according to that couple or whatever it may be. So it was a beautiful wedding, short, sweet, simple, but beautiful. And I am currently back home right now, and I thought I would just kind of chit chat a little bit. I haven't done a car vlog in some time now, and I finally have another camera so that I can do that. I just have one thing floating in my mind, and as you'll know with these sorts of videos, I am very random and sporadic, so we shall see what will come out of my mouth. Anyways, it is Tuesday morning, which is throwing me off because the wedding was on Sunday afternoon and we got home yesterday. And I do want to talk a little bit just about how my experience was, as far as like having triple PD, how I did as far as the wedding went. We also had our second oldest son. He graduated high school a couple weeks prior. So this month, and another thing, and my husband's grandma died, all within a couple week time frame. And so if you have triple PD, you know that even just going to the store is a challenge at times. So I want to share some things because this just proves that I am getting better, but also just want to talk about a couple of things where I should have been like, whoa, slow down, Monica. Okay. I'm going to specifically just talk back on this last weekend because I don't want this video to be super long. I just kind of want to chit chat a little bit, kind of give you guys some hope in the midst of it. I hope anyways. Yeah, because this is very real. Like, I needed to wash my hair so badly this morning, but I'm like, I don't even care. I'm just going to throw a hat on, a little bit of makeup, like some capris and a tank, and I'm just going to go run my couple errands and chat with you guys quick. Okay, so the wedding, it was not in our town, so we had to drive about 2.5 hours, which is not bad. But for those of you that know, motion obviously is a trigger. I am very thankful. 2 years ago, I could barely ride in a vehicle or let alone drive one. So I've made tremendous progress. Once I got to the town though, I was pretty dizzy. Those of you that follow me on Instagram, you will know because I asked for prayer because my symptoms were pretty gnarly as far as the dizziness went. Because that dizziness freaks people out. I'm sorry if you don't get a little freaked out by that sensation. There's something wrong with you because that's your body's natural response to it. But it was cool because I shared that I was struggling with it and that I could really use some prayer. And then somebody else messaged me and reached out to me, and she helped me put it in a different perspective too. And that evening I was actually able to come down from that, and I was starting to feel much better. So then Saturday, I had a pretty decent day. My symptoms were mild. It was a very gloomy, icky, rainy day though. And where I'm at now, it's funny because I had light sensitivity super bad. Like, I have a rose colored tint in my glasses because that was one of my worst symptoms. But now the gloomy, cloudy days are not great for me. So I had some visual challenges, let's say, on Saturday, but my overall mood seemed better. I wasn't in a like freak out mode. I wasn't, I was kind of neutral. I wasn't super happy about how I felt, but I wasn't in a terrible state, if that makes sense. And then the wedding day came, and that was Sunday, and we were all super thankful because the sun was out. It was going to be literally the perfect day for a wedding. It was about 78 degrees, sunshine, some clouds, and I don't know, it was just absolutely perfect. Bear with me. I'm at my first destination, and I'm finding some place to park. This little side note, parking, I know this is gonna sound weird, but it takes a lot of concentration for me to watch for other vehicles. You're supposed to double check when you're driving. I quadruple check, just because I have I'm not a danger when I drive, but I do have some kind of, if you have the visual issues like I do, you're gonna understand. It's kind of hard for me to explain right now, but with the whole tracking and stuff, I lag sometimes. Not bad. Like I'm like super good. I've just got a slight delay, so I really check my surroundings when I am getting into parking lots, really watching for cars that are pulling out, and just make sure I'm as safe as I possibly can be. Okay, back to Sunday, wedding day. It was good. I wasn't feeling stressed. I could tell it had been a long weekend, because anytime your senses get heightened and you come down, they get heightened, you come down. And I had a lot of that this weekend. And so anytime that happens, it's draining on your body in general. And so by the time Sunday came, I was in a place where I'm like, I'm happy, I'm excited for the wedding, but I'm definitely in a place where I feel a little bit weak, but not to the point where I was dwelling on it. So we had pictures before the wedding. They got married, they did their beautiful dance. We went to the reception, we're chit-chatting with family, and this was a smaller wedding too, which was a little bit nice. So like I said, it was definitely not a traditional wedding where they had a huge wedding dance with music and lights and all that stuff that honestly I hate. I hated it before. And sorry, I thought that girl was gonna run into my vehicle. That was kind of crazy. Anyways, and I still don't like that stuff, obviously. But anyways, there was a moment Sunday where things were starting to die down a little bit, and people were starting to leave at this point, but yet the bride and groom were just kind of like going around visiting. There was some dancing going on a little bit, and it was a outdoor wedding, so it was kind of like a picnic theme, like a garden party, and so it was still light out, and so it was a very chill, relaxed environment for me. Not a lot of loud music. But I remember at one point, I just went and sat down. I was in the same area as everybody. It was a big shelter. And so I just found a spot and I sat down, and I had one of those moments where you're like, crap, Monica, you didn't take enough time. I'm gonna probably tear up saying this because there's something else I want to talk about too, and that'll explain my tears. And maybe I should bring that up in this video, being it's something I actually have not talked about yet. But I remember, because there's been so much going, and not enough. Hold it together, Monica. Okay. There has not been enough. I should say it this way. I did not take enough time to do my deep breathing. It's not that I was frantically running around. I was not feeling stressed. I wasn't any of those things, but just the constant, my body was in a constant state of motion and just going. And if you have triple PD, when you finally stop, for some of you, you'll probably experience some symptoms. And now, this is nothing new to me. I've experienced this many times before. But this time in particular, I remember I sat down and I looked down at my hands and they seemed like they weren't connected to my body. Now, I don't know how else to explain this. I know that sounds really wild and really crazy, but it was like everything finally, like my body like stopped moving, but the way my brain was perceiving things was off. And obviously that is part of triple PD. But I just had this moment, I was like, oh crap, Monica, you did not take enough time to just, like, anytime, like if I went to the restroom, I should have taken a couple of minutes to use my oils, did my deep breathing and things like that, because I felt I was doing okay. And I was, but when I finally stopped, it was like, I'm feeling detached here. That's really hard to explain to people. Like I said, some of you are going to understand that. And but thankfully, like, I'm to the place now where, like, I don't feel that feeling much more anymore, because that can be terrifying, where you don't feel like something's like connected, or you feel like you're out of body. But it passed. I didn't panic. I drank some water. I got hydrated. I told my husband what happened. He's like, Monica. And I'm like, I know. But then the rest of the night, I was fine. I was good. Honestly, it wasn't a late night. But yeah, it's just things like that where I'm like, I'm so thankful, because I was able this month to handle one-on-one conversations with people, which I could not do before. I didn't freak, I didn't panic, I didn't get overstimmed, not once. I got heightened a lot, but I never got overstimulated at all, which is amazing. So that tells me, my gosh, my brain is getting it. It's just, I feel like I'm at this end part where I'm like, I just can't quite get past this, where I'm at. But I know it's going to happen, and it's just a matter of time. But okay, really quickly, because this video is already getting longer than expected. It's funny, because what I'm going to talk about next, and I'm going to keep it very brief, but this has been something that I'm almost 99% sure I've not talked about in any of my videos. And it's not like I'm ashamed to talk about it or embarrassed or anything like that. It's just I haven't. But this last weekend, when I shared on Instagram what was happening to me, somebody that's been visiting with me for a while now, she also has triple PD and some other things going on. She mentioned something to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've dealt with that since the very beginning of this. And so I want to talk about that really quick. When I first got sick a couple years ago, right off the bat, like I didn't put two and two together right away, but it was a few months in, and I was like, man, every time when I'm about to get my cycle, my vision gets worse. And now knowing what I know now, I know that can actually be a normal thing to a healthy individual, that time of month, they could have some vision issues. Some people, not everybody, but after I did some research, it can be common. For me, it never was, so that was not a symptom of mine that time of month. So anyways, I remember I told my doctor all the time. I told every single doctor, I said, it's kind of interesting that every time I'm about to get my cycle, like right before, my vision gets way worse, like times 10, like the whole perception thing. And everybody's like, I know they were just kind of like, whatever, but for me, and to this day, that is still an issue. let's see, what else could I say about that? I did talk to my OT about it, and she does not think I'm crazy. Her, what she had to say about it, and this makes sense to me, is so people with triple PD, your body is in a heightened state already. So whether you get, even if you were to get sick, you may feel more sick than the average person. Certain things may feel worse than the average person. So she said, I'm not surprised that when you get your cycle, PMS symptoms may be more heightened than they were prior to getting, having triple PD. So I've known that for some time now. It does not make it any easier. So I'm currently dealing with that as we speak. I am just prior to my cycle. I get way more sad. My vision gets I see clearly. I just, for those of you that are not familiar with triple PD and you're watching this and you're seeing me driving, I can see fine. It's not that I have blurred vision. I don't have double vision. Things are not crazy. It's just the way my eyes perceive things are different. It causes more straining. Yeah, and I definitely have to watch how much screen time I'm having, especially around that time. And so for those of you, I pray that that's not the case for a lot of you. Like I said, I've only had one other lady tell me that she also deals with this, that has triple PD and also has the visual issues prior to getting her cycle. So I just wanted to throw that into this video because it is something that kind of sucks. But just so you know, if you are also dealing with that, you are not alone. That honestly, there's at least a couple other of us that have that. But anyways, I have people starting to stare at me because here I am just talking to myself in my vehicle, which I think is hilarious, but whatever. So anyways, I am gonna go. I have to get, my grandma's 80th birthday party is coming up this weekend, so I'm gonna go get her a little gift. So I'm gonna go do that. And I'm going to go to Walmart, and being we've been out of town for a few days, I need to get some things, some groceries. So I hope this video is helpful. Like I've been saying recently, please give this video a thumbs up if it is helpful, because it lets me know that this content is helping you, or you have found something in it that even will help other people. Share it as well. Subscribe if you have it, and I will see you guys later. Bye.